For yet another day, the fog and 5G having an impact on flights coming in and out of Payne Field in Everett.
And it's wreaking havoc on airport officials, making a mess of plans for passengers as well. Fox 13's Brian Flores back live at Payne Field with the effect this is having right now. Hi, Brian.
Hi, guys. Yeah, the effect is, once again, the fog and the 5G. We've been talking about it for the past couple of days now. In terms of the fog itself, it remains socked in, as Brian McMillan's been talking about here in Everett, so that's not making things easier for any flights coming in or out of here. The second part is the 5G part. We'll get to that in a moment. But in terms of the flights that are heading out of Payne Field this morning, you can see on this departures board inside the terminal over there, 4 of the flights this morning: Spokane, Portland, Boise, and Phoenix. They appear at least canceled, at least here from Payne Field. We understand that last flight, though, from Phoenix, and you have to double check your flight if you're headed there. That flight from Phoenix is expected to fly out of SeaTac a little bit later on today. All flights were canceled yesterday, by the way. But Payne Field actually tweeting out late last night, trying to get passengers an early warning that the weather forecast today is not going to show much improvement over today. So again, they're asking people to double check your flight status with Alaska Airlines prior to leaving the airport. But that was just the fog aspect of it. The second part is the 5G rollout that we've been talking about for several weeks now. It's affecting certain planes' radio altimeters, which helps pilots land and see how far a plane is off the ground. Now, the reason it's affecting Payne Field so much is because of the type of planes here, in particular the Embraer E175 jets. These are basically just regional jets or smaller jets than the typical Boeing 737s, if you will, which the FAA, by the way, in terms of the Embraers, hasn't cleared to land during low visibility situations around 5G cell towers. Now, it's important to note that the cell phone companies were supposed to create a buffer zone around the airport so that these signals would not get through. That being said, the FAA still does not feel confident enough to clear these planes to land. This morning, though, we spoke with a woman who says she was trying to get to Cabo via Portland today, but instead just found out that her flight was canceled.
Well, they said I can drive to SeaTac for an 8 o'clock, but I don't know if I'd be able to get on. They said I'm booked for tomorrow, but my flight for Cabo leaves today. To SeaTac for an 8 o'clock, but I don't know if I'd be able to get on. They said I'm booked for tomorrow, but my flight for Cabo leaves today.
All right. Well, the FAA says the airport says they've had over 40 cancellations affecting 10,000 passengers. The amount of cancellations could get up to 60, according to the airport. Now, the FAA also says they've cleared an estimated 90% of the U.S. commercial fleet to fly just under these conditions. But in terms of these regional planes, the airport says they are in constant contact with the FAA and keep on asking for a timeline on when they could have flights in or out of here. They simply tell us they just don't know at this point. Guys, back over to you.